of behavioral change. The ABCs of behavioral change, because it doesn't make a difference whether you're working with ads or not. If you're not the right person, if you're not the authentic person, then you don't have a shot anyway. You're not going to be able to target. You're not going to be able to stack. You're not going to be able to rig. It's going to be a level playing field. You really have to be who you say you are. You have to be authentic. And it's interesting because when you coach in this space, you can coach from your phone. I can remember literally walking out of my job, calling a client and circling the block 5 times, walking 5 blocks in a circle. By the time I get back to the job, the client's issues are resolved, they're addressed, and we're off to the next. We're setting goals for the next month or whatever, when we're gonna get back on the phone and when we're gonna run back through it again. So I just want you to understand, like, the way we coach, especially in this space, it doesn't have to be face-to-face. There's no overhead. Think about this and write this down. Little to no overhead. Little to no overhead. Your big barrier to entry has just been taken down and is about to be taken down even more. And that was your marketing budget, your ad budget. Now, you don't even need it. And it's going to be as if the big boys don't even have it. They don't even have it. Now, listen, I'm going to show you distinctively how to move in this minefield, because we are about to start running ads, and we're going to run them off the heart piece, off the authenticity piece in the right way. And when we get to that point, when you get all of these competencies down, the coaching like a leader, the speaking like a leader, you go back, you get the branding like a leader. When you're ready for the marketing like a leader, that's when we're going to launch it. The A stands for antecedent. Antecedent. And if you have any kind of clinical expertise, clinical history, clinical education, you're going to remember this, but I want you to understand it. We're going to use the context for coaching. You might have learned this in med school. You might have learned this in psychology. It's different when you're coaching. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you why. It's the same thing, but I'm going to show you how it applies. So the antecedent is the thing or event that existed before or logically precedes another. Right? So it's the decision that you made before you decided to come into coaching, literally. It is the lifestyle that you had. It is the aha moment that made you say, you know what? I need a coach. Whatever that looked like, whatever wasn't working. Whatever you got tired of, whatever you wasn't going to accept anymore, when you said, I'm going to change my life, there was something that took place. And I want you to understand that when your client comes to you, when you see a new email signed up for your email list, you have to understand that something happened. There was an antecedent. Something took place. That's the reality before the decision. There was a reality that took place before the decision. They might have got fired. They might have got downsized. They might have seen somebody else get fired. Somebody might have died. Seriously, something has taken place before they make the decision to come to you. This is the context for coaching. The antecedent, which means something that comes before, can be anything that triggers the given behavior. Think about that word trigger. Environments, social settings, and even specific topics of conversation or word choices can drive someone to initiate a behavior, perhaps even without realizing it. Now listen to this. If you as the coach are attempting to trigger a positive outcome, you might manipulate the antecedents in the situation to foster certain desired behaviors instead. I just said on the last call, I think it was the last call we were on, it might have been the call before that, I said something about writing your goals down in the morning when you wake up. Remember that, Thomas?
Yep, yes, sir. Yep, 10.
Okay. I said something. Now you're still in the same environment. It might not be the most positive environment. It's the environment that you've been in for the last year, 2 years, but now you're doing something different in that environment. I said, when you wake up in the morning, write down your goals. I said, write down first I say, give gratitude. It's a practice. It's an exercise, something you've never done. Same situation you're in, but now you're flipping something. I'm showing you how to manipulate that antecedent, that situation, that environment. Because environment, and I want you to write this down too, and I want you to understand this when your client doesn't give you the results that they said they were going to. Environment trumps will. People say, Shaan, you got the coaching community. Why do you do it almost every single day? It seems like we're always on a call. I'm giving you the right environment. I'm giving you the right environment because environment trumps will. So if I'm just giving you this once a week, like a lot of other places, or once every other week, like a lot of other places, you're going to get the same results that you got in all of those other places. Why? Because you're home, you're in the same place more than you're in the new environment. So I have to uproot you from that environment and put you in a new environment where we always change and we always move and we always progress. And now you're a member of higher level conversation. Now you're a member of higher level negotiation. Now you're a member of higher level networking. The environments we have, the conversations, the context has been expanded. So the content goes down and more content can come in. See, when you're in the same environment and nothing really changes except you pour in information or you pour in milk in the same container that can only hold a quart, now you feel overwhelmed. So when you start pouring content into your client, like he should be getting this, I don't understand, I'm giving him that fire and I keep drilling them and drilling them and drilling them and drilling them. Yeah, you drilling them, but you're not moving them. Does that make sense? You drilling them and you pouring into them, but you're not moving them from one environment to the next. I want you to think about contextual change. Write that word down, contextual change. You have to change the context for the coaching client. You can't leave them in the same environment. They might, this is why people drop out. See, somebody comes in, they say, yeah, I want to do it. I love it. I like everything you're doing. Boom. They come in and then they get off the call and they back with the person in their head. They back with the person eating them out at the neck in their ears. Why you doing that? Why you spending money over there? You know it ain't worked for you last time. Why are you trying to do that? We both tried to do that before. I did that before. My cousin was in that. This sounds like a network marketing scheme. It sounds like this. It sounds like a pyramid, right? It doesn't work because they're in the same environment. So you got to replace the environment with a more positive environment and you got to give them time to transform. You got to give them time to transform, which is why we're moving even from all of the coaching calls that we're doing. I'm still finding time somehow to do events that take 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours sometimes, 5 hours sometimes. Branded Like a Leader was transformative because it was 44 hours out of 288. It was 44 hours. That content was hard to do. And in the context of those calls, I also had alien calls and leadership lives, deep dives at 5. So that was another 2 to 4 hours on top of every meeting that we had every week. Listen, there's people that went through Branded Like a Leader that's doing so good. They like, I'm good. I don't even need, like they so good. They don't even come around because if they need me, they could hit me on the phone, but they like, listen, my life has been transformed. My life has been transformed off of that event or that. Yes, it was an event because it didn't stop for 2 months. It was ongoing. It was super hard. I put them in the fire and I melted the dross off of them and they came out the top refined like pure gold. So I want you to think of your context. Your coaching context, what environment, social setting. See what it says in the second paragraph, and even specific topics of conversation or word choices can drive someone to initiate a behavior. So when I say morals, values, and principles, when I say from crickets to digits in the midst of a pandemic, when I say luxury coaching, people are changed. People are like, ooh, that's a different environment. When I talk about freedom, Literally freedom, being able to leave your job and being able to do what you want when you want. But see, it's the thing of not just being able to do what you want when you want, because I don't work with just anybody who wants to do just anything. If you want to help your people, if you want to lift people up, if you want to provide a service that's transformative, then I can show you how to do that. But it has to align with my morals, values, and principles. I don't just want people who want to sit in bikinis in Tahiti with drinking some mosquito, like what do they call it, mosquito or whatever, like drinking pineapple juice with rum out of a coconut. That's not my thing, right? But if you're really trying to help people, then I can help you help other people. Does that make sense? Put it in the chat if that makes sense. You don't have to come off mute. Just put it in the chat if that makes sense. I want you to think about your client that doesn't bring you the results that you're looking for, because if you don't understand this, then you're going to be apt to become upset. You're going to be apt to think that you're doing something wrong. You're going to be apt to think that there's something wrong with the client. There's nothing wrong with the client. You don't have the right experience. Write this down. There's nothing wrong with the client that doesn't change. You're not giving them the right experience. You're not giving them the support that they need. Transformation takes support and structure. Please write that down. Transformation is an experience. It takes support and it takes structure. I'm not saying that you're responsible for their transformation, because it's really a choice, but you have to know that you've provided the right environment so they could have the opportunity to make a decision. If you haven't provided the right environment, then no matter how bad they want to change, no matter how much they need to change, no matter what they're going to lose if they don't change, you haven't done your due diligence. You have to know where you stand as a coach. Can I support this? I want to make $1 million this year. Can you support it ethically? I want you to write this down too. Ethics is the difference. Ethics is the difference between, it's the main difference in the coaching that you're going to learn. The coaching that you're going to learn, they call it EBC, evidence-based coaching. Evidence-based coaching is ethically based coaching. It is based on years and years of research, beginning with industrial and organizational psychology, moving into human resources management, and what they call now, so many different forms, but I'm going to give you just one of them, positive psychology. Before World War I, they called it industrial and organizational psychology. They have used it in sales psychology. It is called also the sales science. Think about the context. Think about helping someone to make a change, make a decision. I don't want to go too deep into it. Not yet. I just want you to get the ABCs, right? We can go deep into this for the next month. I'm literally without a break. This is just the A. Let me digress. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot, and you're going to be able to transform lives and make the money to support it. Let's go to the B. Behavior. So you've got antecedent and you've got behavior. Behaviors can be classified as positive, problematic, or pivotal. We're going to go through positive first. Positive behaviors are those that benefit the individual and those around them. Problematic behaviors do the opposite, causing problems that could range from counterproductivity or distraction to physical danger. This is real stuff. As coaches, you're going to come across all kinds of people from all kinds of life. I have coached pilots. I have coached police, executive coach, when you are an executive coach and you hold yourself up to a certain caliber and you coach from a place of moral preciseness and you really are who you say you are and you market yourself as who you say you are and you hold yourself to professional standards, you're not going to have one form of client. All of your clients are not going to have fitted caps on. All of your clients are not going to have suits on. You're going to have a wide range of clients with a wide range of behaviors. And if all of those behaviors or all of those experiences that cause the behaviors are super positive, chances are they're not going to think they need a coach. Remember the antecedent. There's a reason why they're present. There's a reason why they come to you, and they don't come to you to stay the same. They come to you because there is a problem. We are professional, psychological problem solvers. That's what we do. We think critically, and we help our clients to begin to think critically. A pivotal behavior is one that contributes to a separate problematic behavior. Now, this is the paragraph that I want to look at because there's a flip to it. A pivotal behavior doesn't have to contribute to a separate problematic behavior. A pivotal behavior is one that is transformative, can become changing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. So problematic behaviors for clients. Some problematic behaviors for clients are going to be lack of discipline, time management. Some clients are not going to be able to show up. They're just not going to be able to get their time right. They know what to do. They know what to do. They know when to do it. They know they need to do it. They know that at a certain time. They go to sleep. They set their clock. They can't get up on time. They can't get themselves ready on time. So when your client says, I'm going to change my life, I'm going to write a book, and you give them the 10 PD framework or whatever you give them, and they say, okay, I'm going to do this, and we're going to meet back in 45 days. And when they come back to you in 45 days and they got 6 pages done, and you're like, what happened to the 45? You know, what happened to the goals? What happened to the things you were going to do? They're going to tell you, I couldn't find the time. They're going to say they couldn't find the time, like they lost their watch. And because they lost their watch, they lost their mind, and the time didn't exist. Like they went to sleep on day 1, they woke up on day 45, and they tried to put it all together the day before they see the coach again. There's going to be some clients who are going to feel like you challenging them, like you disrespecting them when you speak to them. Their communication is going to be off. You have to be the uber professional. So I want you to think of the old thing that you probably heard and maybe never agreed with, unless you were the client in the situation or the customer in the situation, where the client is never wrong. As a professional, the client is never wrong, especially in this context. I mean, if we get in close proximity and you rear back, that could be something else. That could be something else entirely. But in this environment, when they send you a text message or they send you an email or they send you something that you don't agree with and they're a little bit flammable and you're like, ooh, that's rough. You got to eat it like a professional and respond like a professional, because you are the professional. No matter what, right, wrong, win, lose, or draw, you have to be the professional. You got to eat that, and you got to stay above emotional. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Put it in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. Just put it in the chat if you understand what I'm saying, please. You have to be ethical and you have to be professional. Professional and ethical. The client can do no wrong. The only wrong that the client can do is not adhere to the structure of the signed contract. That's the only wrong that the client can do. And even then, the client cannot be addressed as wrong. There's a professional way to handle missed payments and everything. You don't handle them like, yo, where my bread at? Yo, you missed 5 payments, homie, like, what's good? You don't, that's not the way, that's not the way we handle things as professionals, right? There's an etiquette, ethics, etiquette, and evidence. Now, we all got past, we all got histories, we all got like places where we come from. We've all got tendencies of our own to act other than our best selves, but you have to maintain an ethical balance, because when you have an ethical disconnect, the life of your business is in jeopardy. See, ethical disconnects lead to experiential disconnects. Experiential disconnects can lead to a lack of reputation management. And what I was just telling you about the ads and all of that stuff, your reputation management is your revenue maintenance. So please write that down. Reputation management equals revenue maintenance. Another problematic behavior for a client is going to be priorities. They're going to put all kinds of other stuff in front of what they're supposed to do. They're going to know they have to get this done, but they're going to choose to do that. There may be some clients here who say, I'm going to be a life coach. As a life coach, you may have somebody who comes to you with weight regulation issues. Literally, they might want to lose weight. And you're going to take their money and you're going to coach them on it. And then they're going to tell you that they gained weight instead of lost weight after you give them a diet management and weight management problem. That's a priority issue. They know what they should do, but see, look at the top. They lack the discipline. They might lack time management. They might be getting heavy because they eat too late. It might be a communication issue. They may be arguing with their spouse, and what they do is they placate, or they self-flagellate or self-indulge or self-gratiate eating foods that's no good for them. It's priorities. It's a priority situation. What's more of a priority, the way your emotions feel or the way your ego feels? There's ego food. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Like, everybody's not going to be the same kind of coach at the end of this program. I just want to make it real for you so you understand it in different contexts as it applies to different clients, right? If I only speak to a business coach situation, then I'm not doing something right for the client that, or the coach who's not going to do that. So I know that Mr. Thomas has marriage coaches or marriage clients. He's doing relationship coaching already, which is phenomenal. Those clients, communication and priority. Communication and priority. You can't talk to each other any kind of way. You got to learn how to communicate. Some homework for those clients might be to read the 5 love languages and understand each other's preference. Another tool that might be used is the leadership chess test, so they could understand how each other receives information. Not what you say. I know what you say and I know how you intend it, but that's not what she hears. You're saying, I love you. She's hearing a middle finger because of tonality and inflection and body language. It's deeper than what you think. So what's the priority? Is being right the priority, or is staying married the priority? I'm just throwing out different arrangements, different situations. Is getting the job the priority, or is keeping it real the priority? I don't feel comfortable wearing pants. I know you the coach. I know you the career coach telling me to wear the white shirt. I showed up on time. I don't feel like cutting my dreadlocks. I don't think I should have to do that. Okay, that's your thought. But your goal is to take care of your wife. Your goal is to be able to utilize your degree in the marketplace. You got the degree, but you don't have the right look. That's a priority issue. That's a priority issue. And then that's going to bring me down to the last one. Some clients are not going to be coachable. You're going to have to teach some clients how to be clients. They want to learn, they want the results, but when you tell them what to do, when you challenge them, because coaching is challenges, it's a series of strategic questions and it's a series of strategic challenges. They're going to take it personally. So a female, one of you women, might have a male client who don't feel comfortable hearing what they need to do from a woman. It reminds them of their mother, or it reminds them of their children's mother, or it reminds them of their big sister, or it reminds them of the wife. And they like, nah, I hear, but I do not obey. Does that make sense? I want everybody to understand and be on the right page and understand what you're going into, working with clients. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Pivotal behaviors for clients. I want you to write each one of these down because these are pivotal behaviors for clients. Very pivotal. Goal setting. I say it all the time. Coaching is a future-focused, goal and action-oriented process. Emphasis on what? Emphasis on actions, emphasis on process. What are the actions in tandem to? The actions are in regards to the goal setting. If you're not setting goals for clients, you're not coaching. Let me say that again. If you are not setting goals with your clients, you are not coaching. You're having conversations. You're taking money for conversation, and that's not ethical. You can have comfortable conversations. You can have a great communicative relationship of professionalism, but the criteria for coaching is time-sensitive goal setting and progress towards those goals. If the goals are not met, then you revisit. You either set another goal because the client says, I'm not concerned with that anymore, I'm ready to do this. You say, yes, okay, and you change with them and set more goals once or twice, maybe 3 times at the most, until you see, oh no, they don't really just have another goal. They have a problem with meeting the goal. And then you have to address that. But setting goals for clients are pivotal behaviors. But you don't just set the goal for them. You ask them what they think the goal should be. When do you think you'll be done? When do you graduate? When do you think this will be completed? I'm going to need this from you in 3 days. Is that okay? Goal setting. And then emotional buy-in. You get emotional buy-in from asking those questions. What do you think a good goal for you would be? That's an emotional buy-in. Well, what happens if you don't do what you said you're going to do? And you let them think about it, and you let them paint the most painful picture. If you was on the call last night, that's a blessing, because we were talking all about the pain that propels the action. We talked about the XYZ squared, right? So they don't have to blank. That's the piece right there. I transform leaders into brands so they can make their yearly income monthly, their monthly income weekly, and their weekly income daily, so they can give their boss a pink slip, so they don't have to live the life of a slave for the rest of their lives. So when you get to that piece, well, what happens, Mr. Client, if you don't make the money that allows you to leave your job, and then you be quiet and you let them tell you their worst nightmare? Well, I'll never be able to take a vacation with my wife and my children. Well, I'll keep having to sit up under this boss that I hate who doesn't respect me. Well, I'm going to end up dying in debt and passing the debt on to my children instead of passing on an inheritance to my children. That's emotional buy-in. Feedback. Ask the client to give feedback. What are your thoughts? I ask you to give feedback during one meeting probably more than 10 times. Put it in the chat if this makes sense. What are your thoughts on that? What did you think about that? How is this impacting you? What are your thoughts on that? Put it in the chat. That's asking for feedback. You are reinforcing your own psychological change, which turns into your own behavioral change from the feedback that you give. If you ever saw me really coach somebody, or you were one of the clients that I've spent time with and coached, then you know what it feels to like to go through an exercise of tremendous critical thinking. It'll be like chess on steroids with jousting. You will think very, very critically and come up with very hard answers, very hard situations. And I'm training you. As you're going through these calls, I'm training you to be the kind of critical thinker that elicits critical thinking. As a matter of fact, there's a goal. I want you to write this goal down. To become a critical thinker that elicits critical thinking. That doesn't mean that you just think critically. That means that you think so critically that you cause people around you to think critically. And that doesn't mean they're going to love you for it, but they will thank you. And their lives will be a reflection of the blessing that you have been. And then finally, a pivotal behavior for a client is emotional intelligence and maturation. Your relationship with the client is going to be consistently challenge, stretch, challenge, stretch, challenge, stretch. I have very good relationships, but very tested relationships with clients because I stretch them to a certain degree and I don't handhold. I don't handhold. I'm not going to do the work for you. And when you think you did phenomenally, I'm going to tell you there's work to be done. And I'm going to tell you where that work exists. I'm going to give you as much reward and recognition as you need to go to the next level. Because that's my job. It's not my job to be complacent. It's not my job to hold your hand. It's not my job to put your head on my shoulder. That's not my job. My job is to make you, to build you so you can put the heads of others on your shoulders and be the coach that transforms not only your life, but your bank account's life for the life of your children's children, as well as the life of all of the clients that you come into contact with. Not only the clients that you come into contact with, but the people that you come into contact with, because the way you carry yourself is marketing. So what am I saying? What are you saying, Shaan? Are you saying me and my clients not even going to be friends? I'm going to say you're going to be able to get along with them as long as they're doing the work they're supposed to do. But the moment they slack, the moment they slip, I want you to be empathetic, not sympathetic. Write that down. Empathetic, never sympathetic. Listen, guys, this is real life. Like we are all, no one here is a spring chicken. No one here is the oldest person. Like nobody's here is an old person. No one here is a spring chicken. That means we exist in middle age. Would everybody agree to that in the chat? Can we exist that we're adults? Can we admit that we're all adults? We all grown. I'm gonna stop the share for a minute. We all grown. Everybody grown, nobody a kid. What does that mean? I want you to write this word down. Andragogy. Andragogy. Tasha, what does andragogy mean? Okay, let me spell. I'm sorry. Let me put it in the chat real quick because I'm not going to just say everybody knows how to spell this. It's fine if you don't. That's fine. I didn't know how to either. Andragogy. Write that down. Tasha, what does andragogy mean? Tasha she might not be awake. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what does andragogy mean?
Oh my God. What? I don't know.
Okay, no problem. Sandra, what does andragogy mean?
It refers to like, your adulthood and how you move through your adulthood through education?
It's a little bit different, but you got the two words right though. It's adult and it is education. Andragogy is how you teach adults. That's andragogy. It's adult education. So it's how you teach others, how you educate others. So pedagogy is how you teach children. So a teacher of if this was a teaching school and I was teaching teachers who are going to go into pre-K through 12th grade, then I would be teaching you pedagogy. But this is college level, and you're going to be working with adults primarily. Maybe not Lynn's son. She might be having some clients that is pedagogy, but she already knows that. So she also works with the parents, and this is called andragogy. Adult-centered education is called andragogy. Okay, let me just say something that happens during andragogy. During andragogy, people have children, they have spouses, they have parents. These parents get old, and nature takes its course. I'm trying to prepare you for something. You will have clients who will have divorces. You will have clients who get pregnant and have children. You will also have clients who have to bury their parents. This is andragogy. This is the life of an adult. Does everybody understand? I'm not trying to come down critically on anything or anybody at all. I'm just saying that these are the life situations that you're going to have to deal with adult clients. And even in that case, even in the worst case scenario, you have to be empathetic. You have to be empathetic, which means I understand I've lost parents too, but that doesn't mean that you don't have a job to do. Does that make sense? I want everybody to respond to that question. Does that make sense? You have to be the right person. And to be the right person, this means that you have to have not a cold shoulder, but a real shoulder. You got to have a real shoulder where you can say, okay, wow, okay, so you're going to, how much time do you need? You understand? Coaching is holding people accountable, holding people's feet to the fire. I understand. Wow, that's amazing. Do you need a moment? And just shutting up sometimes and being quiet and letting someone process, because it's a real thing. But after the processing, we get back on course, is what I'm saying to everybody. After the processing, it's like, okay, now where was the goal? Because, he wouldn't have wanted you to lay down and not move. What kind of relationship did you have? Was he a go-getter? Did he secure you, your mother, and your son, your daughter, and your siblings? Is that the kind of father he was? Okay, then what would he want you to do in this moment? He would want you to move. Okay, so how are we going to move? And some people might be like, wow, that's harsh. No, what that's going to do is it's going to allow the client to get what they came to you for, and it's going to allow them to learn resilience and strength in the face of adversity. This is coaching. This is andragogy. This is real coaching for adults. All right. Emotional intelligence and maturation. You will absolutely watch as your clients transform throughout the process of coaching. They will come to you and you will start them off on a tricycle. You'll have what do they call it? Training wheels, because they're walking through a process that they know not. And it's your job to lead. Please write that down. It is my job to lead. As the coach, it's not your, so let me say this clearly. It's not your job to lead them. They are a leader of themselves, but it's your job to lead the what? Put in the chat. Who knows what I'm saying? It's your job to lead the what? The blank. There's a blank there. Put it in the chat if you know what it is. It's not your job to lead the person. It's not your job to lead the client. It's your job to lead the, hold on, I'm scrolling down, Process. Yes. Yes. It's your job to lead the process. As coaches, we are, please write this down. As coaches, we are facilitators. We facilitate. I want you to think of a rehabilitation facility, physical rehabilitation facility, and the poles that those clients are able to hold with their hands, the arm rails, the guard rails, while they're getting their feet under them again and learning how to walk again. That's what we do. We provide the guardrails. I'm trying to give you a metaphor. I'm trying to give you a visual image of what the coaching does. The coaching provides the arm rails or the facilitation, the process for the client to become self-independent, self-led, and self-guided and self-directed. All right. Halfway through, a little bit more. Are you guys learning a lot? Put it in the chat if this is a little bit different than what you thought. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Your coaching practice will be a direct result of how serious you take the learnings. It'll be a direct result. Your coaching practice, the success and the transformation that takes place, that is experienced by the client, will be a direct correlation of how seriously you take what you're learning here. There's some of you that will probably get half of it. I hope everybody gets everything, but I just know percentages, right? Your business will give to you what you take, what you put into it. It'll get returned to you what you invest in it. And everybody here has invested money, so please invest your time and please invest your energy. Because you can set your own prices, and there's no limit to how much you can make in this space. But there is a limit to how much you can do, and that's what's in your head. Like if your information is limited, if you forget, like, wow, what do I do in this situation? What did Shaan say? And you can't bring it up, that's the end, that's the gap. And your client will be able to tell. Remember what Amal said? Does everybody remember what Amal said? Amal said that she gets a coach, and then she rises to the level of the coach, and then the coach can't teach her anymore, so she has to find another coach. That was deep. That was deep. That was real. That was a warning. She put the coaching world on notice. Huh? She said that I was on the call. What do you think she was saying to me? What do you think but I love a challenge. I'm like, you'll never reach my limit. I don't have a limit. While you're learning, I'm learning. I just showed you that. While you're learning from me, I'm learning. So that cap don't exist. You won't reach the limit of me and then exhaust and all of that. Like as soon as I teach, I learn. I empty out what I learned so I can pour in more. And everything I teach you is time sensitive because I learn and then I teach immediately, having learned it, so I can make room for more. Absolutely no cap. Absolutely no cap. And if you pick that up as a practice, that's called game over. So ABC, antecedent, behavior, and the C stands for change or consequences. Change or consequences. Change takes place when one behavior is substituted for another. Coaches do not change clients. Clients choose to change. Now, do we provide the facilitation? Of course. Do we provide the orientation? Of course. Do we provide the process? Of course we do. Clients, it's like a car wash, guys. Clients come in, beat up by life. They got 10 different courses. They've made no money off of those. They don't know what to do, and they have a choice. You can enter the car wash or not. And even in the middle of the car wash, and something is pushing you forward, the process is pushing you forward, the community is pushing you forward, everybody's coming, rooting for you, and there's people in back of you, you can still turn your car off of neutral, put it in drive, put it in reverse, bump into the car in back of you, and you can have a complete emotional shutdown, collapse, and explosion inside of the car washer, inside of the process of coaching. We do not change clients. Clients choose to change. So whenever you find yourself saying, I gotta, or my client don't, or they need to this, or I'm showing them, we guide. Please write that word down. Just like facilitation, we guide. We don't force. We are not responsible. It's like this. I tell you, okay, get in your car, put your car in neutral, make sure you don't put your limbs out of the car, keep your windows rolled up, keep your if you got one of those cars, they got the side mirrors that fold in, fold them joints in. Fold them joints in, they might get left on the floor. I tell every client, this is a process. This is not going to be easy. This is going to be a year long at minimum, and it's going to be longer if you so choose to continue to move forward. It's on you, but you see, you want to have parameters. Write that down, parameters in your coaching practice. What is your coaching structure? What are your coaching parameters? Remember, we design our ideal lives, and then we design the ideal business. In designing the ideal business, we design the ideal experience. So we design our ideal lives, we design the ideal business, and through the ideal business, we design the ideal customer experience. It's called UX. That's also called user experience. Okay. Consequences are what happen when consequences are what happens when a client chooses to change. One or the other. If they come out the other end, they are shiny, they're buffed up, they went in rusty, now they looking fresh, they pockets is crazy, they getting money in the marketplace, they're able to move independently, they're on Clubhouse raking, they on Facebook raking, they on Instagram raking money, they're working with industries, just walking, talking, and their mouths and their thoughts have become an ATM machine. That's a consequence of going through the process. And then there's others. All kinds of things take place. They drop out. Their relationships don't work. Their relationships with their children don't work. They lose jobs. They get divorces, like I said. You know what I mean? Like there's consequences to what happens when a client chooses to change. Positive and negative. But let me tell you this, those consequences are a direct reflection of decisions and choices. You can't get caught up in that. You cannot get caught up in that. Because if you do, you will not last long. You got to have, write this down, thick skin. Thick skin. I want you to write this down, please. Please write this down. They taught us this so many times. They imprinted it so many times in college that we could not possibly we couldn't take ownership for the outcomes. You as a coach are not responsible for clients' outcomes or consequences. If you have time, write that down all the way until you get to bed. I want you to write this down in your head 1,000,000 times. You as the coach are not responsible for clients' outcomes or consequences. Why? Because knowledge and application are on two different people. It is on you to provide the knowledge. It is on them to provide the consequences. I mean, the outcomes. They have to, okay, so we provide the knowledge, they provide the what? Yes, thick skin is paramount. We provide the knowledge, they apply the what? The outcome is a direct result of exactly, Linson. They provide the application. We provide the knowledge, they have to apply it. Now look at this beautiful thing that we do called coaching. I want you to really, really look at this beautiful thing that we do called coaching. Not only do we provide the knowledge, because we're authentic, we're not school teachers. See, school teachers who teach coaching, they don't even do this piece that I'm about to give you. They're giving you theory. They're giving you something they read. So we go a step further. We provide the knowledge and we provide the activation. They have to do the application though. We show them the results of the application. I say, listen, my clients was with me. I had clients with me when I left my job. They saw it, they heard it, and then they saw it. I did it and I recorded it. It was their experience. And I told them, if you apply what you're learning, you'll be able to do it too. I activated. I'm always activating on what I'm using. I'm always activating on what I'm giving you. I just gave you an example of what Facebook is doing, beefing with Apple, and I told you what the outcomes were going to be. I told you I'm going to activate through the entire process. Watch me, and I'm going to teach it to you next year. The same way I do it. So you, as a coach, everybody here, not only will you be giving the clients your knowledge, but you'll also be giving them your example. And all you'll really have to say is listen to what I say and then watch what I do. Because you're growing your businesses too. You are who you say you are because I don't teach anything but authenticity marketing. This is evidence-based coaching. This is different. This is not school teaching where I sit up here and pontificate in a three-piece suit behind a podium and tell you to go out there and smash the market. And I went straight through school. I'm the youngest teacher there, and I've got no practical application, no practical experience. I'm reading from a book, regurgitating from a lecture I heard, and I'm giving you no results. My own market earned results in my own example. No, that's not how it works. Sandra's here after, where did she say she was at for the past 2 months? Getting credentialed up so she could have the credential, say, this is what it looks like. This is what I do. And now she's here so she can say, oh, and this is how I apply it. So when her clients come to her, they will see that she has the evidence or the theory, but she's also got the practical. You understand what I'm saying? You'll have your practice, you'll have your past, you'll have your experience, your expertise, and then you'll also have your future endeavors walked out in the marketplace. So you can say, listen, hear what I'm saying to you and watch what I do in real time. Don't just take notes from what I say. Take notes from what I say and then watch what I do and how it's applied. This is all about positioning. Positioning yourself as the authority so that the client has complete confidence in your complete competence. That's what gives them a firmer spine. That's what helps them become more substantive and more confident. They become more, they get, oh, this is so good. This is so good. This is so good, right? Because I want you to think of martial arts. I want you to think of martial arts, and you know this, anyone who has studied any martial arts at all, boxing, any kind of physical sport, it's not about what you learn. I love this stuff. This is the stuff that I promise you I love this stuff. Okay. Give me a second.